Hello and welcome. So this is Odalin. I have had this sitting in shipping since December. I contacted Dragoni Games, or Dragori Games, and I have to say their customer service is kind of awful. I had to go onto GameFound and actually complain to get my pledge because I was hoping that the CSR would actually do her job. And sadly, yeah, that whole nobody wants to work anymore thing kind of seems true. This is a game that had a really unique dungeon crawler mechanic and had some hybrid card building. I thought that was really cool. And I got the all-in. Here's the sleeve pack. It says 990 mini Euro sleeves, 490 standard sleeves, and 80 Magnum gold sleeves, which I don't know if that's some weird tarot size. This seems really light for almost 1,500 sleeves. And then here we have some acrylic tokens of just random assortments. And then really weird was this pack of, looks like equipment and items that just was thrown in the box. Nothing's damaged, I don't think, except for like some minor stuff, but that's pretty standard in shipping. So let's check out and see if I got everything. So the other box is the Kickstarter stuff and a bunch of the expansions. I hope they're in there. Seems kind of small. I paid $100 for shipping, by the way, which seems really ridiculous for what was shipped to me. So it basically has this campaign where you're trying to fight evil with evil, the corruption thing. It's been done many times in other board games, but this one had a neat system of actually creating hybrid spells or abilities. And I do like the fact that like, this was pointed out in the campaign that your choices matter in the campaign. A lot of campaign games, it doesn't seem like your choices really matter. So, it's a fairly hefty box. No interior art. So we have the fortune teller stuff. I've never really liked fortune teller, but if you guys like it, let me know in the comments. One large crack baggie. Our rule book, and I know there's going to be some issues with the rule book. There was supposed to be a tutorial on how to play. I don't know if that's out yet. I gotta double check all the gamefound stuff. But I've heard people really like it on gamefound, so take that as you will. We have a save campaign system. That's kind of neat. Kind of cheap, they only gave you one. So I have to check to see if you can actually download these, or I'm just going to photocopy them. This is interesting. I actually kind of like that. Little pull tab. Lots of tokens. We'll check out that cardboard quality in a bit. And here we have our enemies, it looks like. This is kind of a neat system. We got different shaped bases for some of the enemies, but the same color. That's probably going to throw some people off. It's a decent plastic. As far as details go, they're alright. It's kind of odd how the coloring goes, but I imagine some type of activation system. We have standard cubes. Imagine this is for a deck of cards. A very thick campaign book. And it's spiral bound, so that's really nice. So lay flat. So that's very cool. Not a lot of layout stuff in here. Granted, this might just be choices. No, there's chapter 1. Oh, you definitely have to read all that. I'm believing these are our heroes. People were excited because it had an elephant. I thought that was kind of neat. What is this? It's numbered. Okay, this is some type of tracker you put together. Odd system. And it goes like that. And then I believe these are some of the bosses. They are not labeled at the bottom, which kind of sucks. But this guy's definitely giving that World of Warcraft vibes. Alderan, whatever that demon lord is. This guy kind of looks like Satan. But you can kind of see some bad assembly right there. but I'm not too worried about it. It's a very nice storage system. I hope it's functional. I imagine tokens are going to go there. And we got these boards that are recessed on both sides, so that's kind of neat. I imagine your character goes in the center. We have this, which is really hard to get out. We have these mystery boxes. I was kind of curious how big these were because the campaign made them look way bigger. But I do like the idea of having little mystery boxes that you can open up and get more stuff through the quest. Yeah, this is definitely very World of Warcrafty. I really got this because it reminded me of Warcraft, or not Warcraft, Diablo 2, the 2 or 3, I can't remember, the one with the desert region where you fight the giant scarab, because this has a Middle Eastern theme. This gin's pretty sweet though. And they used really good clear plastic. Hey, you look familiar. Except you're a dude, not a woman. And you're huge according to these treasure chests. Alright. So this. I imagine this is going to be integral to be pulled out so you can actually grab cards and stuff. And according to the sleeves, there's over 1,000 cards. We got a little tracker. They gave you like 10. Okay. So, boss cards. Much larger than tarot, or I should say wider. This was the system I thought was really cool, was you had these clear cards, and you overlay them to build combos. And I was like, that's what I was really excited about. They do come with black sleeves to keep them together. And then I believe these are your abilities for your characters. So it is an RPG, you upgrade to get better cards. I am kind of disappointed. I thought there would be more of these, but it looks like something like 30 to 40 each. This is packed in an interesting way, or just slipped. Ah, this is nice. So you got this little groove here, so you can just grab out chunks, but no dividers really to help with that. This seems to be all equipment. And I wonder if this was supposed to be in this, because this is initiative. Level 4, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 5, and the initiative. And it's already looking like this is not going to fit all the sleeve cards, but I haven't got to the storage box yet. So we'll see what that's about. More initiative cards, basic cards, advanced cards, advanced cards. Okay. So I'm hoping these are all the cards. And they're double-sided, it looks like, so that could be neat. Except, we're going to have to use these for that. We'll see how that goes. Definitely got to read up on this. Like I said, I just got it. And you can see the inside of the box is pretty torn up, so I don't think this was packed with the best care. This has some minor damage. It's kind of be a pain to pull out constantly, and I feel like the way it's intended is that way. That you have to pull this out for your market stuff. But this does not look like it's going to sleeve very well. It definitely doesn't look like it's going to fit. I believe it went that way. There was no packing guide. That's a shame. I'm a big fan of that just because it helps out a lot. But it's probably in one of the books somewhere or online, and if not, I'll do my normal thing and figure it out. This is some thin cardboard here. Yeah, some pretty thin cardboard tiles. I don't know how well they're going to hold up in the long term. They got that gloss on that does scratch. But we do have a nice variety, and they are double-sided. They just decided they really love pit traps. And they're already falling out per their shittiness. Have some type of tracker board. What if these are these tokens? So I don't need to punch them out. Some of them are. And then we have our character boards that go and get inserted in to the recess spots. And it looks like there's a lot of loot. Or modifiers, I guess. So we got the Prince of Persia, friggin' the Enchantress from Suicide Squad, Himiko from Neo 3, Elephant Man, definitely a Diablo assassin. Looks like some paladin. This is definitely a paladin. And then a kitty. Or these are the door systems. I'm actually really curious why it didn't say what those things were. So let's check out our component listing. Condition tokens, D20. I didn't see a D20. Did you guys see a D20? There it is. It's black, not white. Colored cube. Passage miniatures. That's what these are. Okay. Demon cards, hero cards, demonic forms. And that's it. It's not super detailed. If I don't sound enthusiastic, I never do, but I'm also really tired. I did not sleep well per usual. So this has Act 1. It's actually really cool. It has a whole thing of cards acquired. Quest cards, level items. And then the back side is also more level items. So this is actually really nice. Yeah, I'll take care of all that later. But yeah, definitely let me know if Fortune Teller or Foreteller is actually really good. I had experience using it and I don't like it. This is the all-in storage box. There's definitely stuff in here. So I don't know if it's two separate boxes or somehow everything's going to fit in here. Got another dice tray. Let me know if you want me to add this to the 2026 giveaway, since I don't really use these. We have a map of some sort? What is this? Okay, all of Act 2 is packaged in this with a overworld map, it looks like. It looks like it's just printed on paper. I have to wonder if those tokens came with the acrylic tokens. This is a little disappointing, but I guess it doesn't matter. If this is a player board, I'm going to be very annoyed. And this is a very pricey Kickstarter for the price. I still don't know if I've gotten my money's worth. More tiles. An art book. Let me know if you want me to add that to the 2026 giveaway. Interesting how our character tiles are separated here. So we got a dwarf, a female paladin, a chaos marine, another chaos marine, a necromancer of some sort, a dwarf with a scythe on a raptor, a mage, and another mage. We have our second campaign book, so I guess it's only 2 campaigns long. Interesting. And then storage, it looks like. Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna put all of that in here. I don't think this was thought out as well as they thought when they called it a complete storage thing. It could be like Scarface 1920, where this is just for the expansions. We have some nice looking dice, a bunch of terrain. These things are kind of hard to get out. These are kind of neat. May or may not use them just because usually this stuff just clutters everything. I do like these doors. They're pretty cool. Looks like we have some exploding pots of some sort. Or no, it's an axe and a barrel. We got some bear traps. I wonder if the modifier tokens will actually fit under here, and this is the reason I really care about the terrain, because it's always an afterthought. A bunch of D20s now. I guess one for every player. And more hidden loot. So definitely a lot of cool hidden loot stuff. I do like these little loot boxes. There are probably going to be abilities and stuff that modify your character as rewards. Surprisingly, none of these vac trays have broken, so that's good. And we have some big enemy minis here. They seem way bigger than some of the board spaces. We have this giant manticore. It's actually really well detailed. This centaur, I guess? I am a little bit disappointed that they didn't try to do a different plastic. They did it for the bases, but not on the bosses. They didn't try to add any more. This guy just does not want to fit in right. Diablo. The Stranger Things monster. Yeah, this guy's stacking really obnoxious. A bloodthirster? Some type of harpy? And some type of, what do you, stairs? So yeah, this gives me a lot of Diablo vibes. And then we have this little card pool, which these are the boss cards. So, some more demon abilities and hero abilities. Surprisingly, no black sleeves. That's kind of odd. More items, I'm guessing for the new characters. Kind of odd that it was packed this way. So, yeah, it's doesn't look like it's going to fit sleeve cards, which that's a big no-no if you're going to sell sleeve cards with product. This doesn't really fit well. Not having a packing guide, that's going to be an issue to repack all this. Again, I'm not a fan of these types of covers. If you're going to do this to hold something, you need raised edges. This being a pit's a little bit confusing. That one there. Okay. Gotta figure out what goes there too, because this seems unusual. And this box is a little bit larger than the other box. But this says it includes all the contents from the expansion. So this is just really a box to hold the expansion stuff. To call it all-in storage is kind of disingenuous. Interesting. Well, I will sleeve everything, and I guarantee it won't fit in this, so that'll be annoying. But I'll be back. So it's going to be kind of a mess, and it's really because I played the game, and I'm trying to put everything back, and it's just a pain. But I kind of want to show you how the storage system works, and it's awful. So in the typical large box nonsense when it's games like this, they're not really well thought out with the packaging, and Odalin is no different. So we got our books, our campaign stuff. As you can see, I printed out a bunch of FAQ stuff, and this is actually kind of critically important. There's a lot of errors and weird things wrong with the rules. Another thing is, if you are going to print out the FAQ, just print out the most recent one in the official errata. I am still not sure why they have some of these card backs that have been changed. I can get the consumables, but I don't get some of the backs. Like there's a whole sheet of like Vipers or something. There's no instructions, so weird. But that's pretty typical with how things are looking with this company. And I didn't mention it earlier, but I noticed it while I've been playing through. So there's really not a lot of good spots for the cardboard components. This tracker system for your health and stuff, this is actually a really good idea, and I think this actually is like something that other people should do. It's large, but it's not as large and not as mind-numbing as keeping track of a bajillion counters. But another thing that it allows is a quick glance. You can see what someone's health or an enemy's health instead of like counting up tokens. The mini storage system is kind of odd. This multi-tray storage system, I usually don't mind stuff like this, but having certain things, especially like this type of token system, probably should have been separated. This divider system is interesting, I have to say, mainly because this counts as a space on the board. I don't know how I feel about that. I think the doors could have just done that enough and hit it. But everyone's been telling me that the minis are phenomenal, which I thought they were just average, but everyone's been telling me the minis are really good. These are your demon cards, and these are the forms that you can switch into that give you abilities. And it's kind of a neat system because you don't manage your corruption enough, you'll become a demon, and you'll have access to these abilities. Or let me rephrase that. There's souls that you pay to transform into a demon, but if your corruption gets too high, you become a demon, and then the other players have to defeat you to get you back on the board. It's a neat system. Now, here's one of my major gripes about systems like this. This is kind of an important thing. If you're going to have components that you need to get, like these little mini tokens, constantly back and forth, these need to be separate from the main storage. Having all these components crammed in just because you can get them is not a great idea. Another thing is the acrylic tokens I got. They are missing all the expansion characters. And if you're wondering what these 3 slots are, they didn't even include the action tokens that your characters are supposed to have. Your characters are supposed to have... You're supposed to have a set of 12 action tokens, 3 for each character. And they're supposed to be double-sided as a, I guess, non-corrupt side and a corrupt side. Here is a Arkham Horror 3rd Edition token. But they didn't include these in the base game. Really, really bizarre. And when they did the acrylic tokens as a bonus, they did not include that either. Very, very huge oversight in their processing. But I was getting to these tiles. These tiles are double-sided. They're not really that important. But I'm showing these off as in, there's 2 anvil tiles here. There's only 1 anvil mini. And personally, I don't care about these that much. It's just, if you're going to do something like that, have multiple. But the thing that has always irked me about any type of terrain, and this is every game that comes out, if you're going to have one side thematic, and the other side is actually different, there's an issue here. Either provide enough, or stop doing this and do a roll table. Nobody likes having basically double the tokens and effort to put stuff out. The These little cubies that go in your little tracker, yeah, some of them I don't know what they're for. The red one goes in your health, the white one goes for souls, and the black one goes in your corruption. Not really sure what the other ones are for. They didn't come up in game testing. And then stuff like this, here's our door tokens. And then we have a Hell Rift portal token, which seems really unnecessary to put out because this is only when you're resting you have the option to go there. Kind of weird. This system, I really like these little trackers. And what they're based on is your stat, like here's Center's Luck. And it starts like there. And slowly through the game, you'll upgrade. And you'll be able to go from like level 0, 1, 2, 3. And they slide in, and that's actually really a cool system. The numbers here are added to your D20 test results, kind of like D&D. So that's actually a really cool system. Problem is, you're constantly looking for these to put in the right spot, especially when you're modifying and rotating. Kind of makes setup a pain. I've thrown the deluxe dice in here just because. Now, this is from the second box, but I threw it in here because it fits better. And there is a mini missing. I was under the impression it was one of the loot boxes. It is not. It is a Kickstarter exclusive character that was, I guess, delayed. Not really sure what Dragoni was going off with it, but it's supposed to be coming. I don't really have a lot of faith in this company. There's a lot of printing errors, there's a lot of erratas, there's a lot of weird stuff that's messed up, missing components, especially for stuff like acrylic tokens. And they forgot a whole mini. They say they're going to ship that out to everyone whenever stuff gets done. This was supposed to come back to me like somewhere around like January, and it took this long. And that was really because their customer service is awful. And it seems like people are shaming them on gamefound right now, and they're really just staying in the dark. So I don't know if they bit off more than they chew. They didn't really test it. They were trying to push it out because of tariffs or whatever. I'm not sure. But doing stuff like that really does hurt the reputation of a company and makes it really difficult for people to gain trust. Especially if you're going to release this retail. I don't think this is coming to retail. But here's where I'm getting to my gripes about tokens and stuff. I don't know how many of the maximum they're going to put out of these tiles. I tried putting the tiles to see if it fit in here. It doesn't. And honestly, it gets stuck. But if you're going to put stuff like this, you're going to include like the cardboard tiles, but what's the point of these? I hate it. I know some people really like the minis, but for me, you're paying extra for something that doesn't serve a purpose. And as cool as these doors are, they take up a lot of space. I don't really understand the extra set of D20 dice either, but I guess that was a bonus. And these were the regular dice. Not as nice as swirl dice. But dice are not a big issue to me. But paying extra for stuff I'm pretty much not going to use as an issue. This is the card storage. There's a mix of the first and second expansion cards in here because I had them set out by like classes and stuff. And this game has a really cool system that I really also kind of hate. And I bring it up as in, you have these miniatures that have a combat deck. There is a basic version and an advanced version. This I like because it adds a lot of variety and it adds randomness to their attacks so they don't just feel like they're doing the same thing. And as you can see, there's a lot of these guys. In the other box that I'll open up next, I have all their initiative markers, and with the initiative markers, you have to find the right initiative card that goes to that. It's described in the book with the deck of cards. Needless to say, it's a lot of stuff of constantly digging through things. Here we have all our items, and the items are actually really neat. Because some of the items have stuff like this set bonus. This is where, like I said, the Diablo stuff was. And unlike other games that do this dungeon crawler system, every time you defeat a room, it's a loot pinata. So loot's constantly dropping, you can upgrade or equip it right as you get it. I really like that because it doesn't feel as stagnant as most RPG games, where you're just kind of stuck and you gotta wait till the end till you get a campfire or do things. Here, as soon as you get it, you can just do it. And some of the equipment has these stat symbols. You instantly change your stat token to the new level. And I really like how clean and simple it is. your dice, your pool, everything's on your weapons or your equipment. Very clean, very easy to read. I like that a lot. And we have about 5, I guess they call them chapters, but it's really levels of equipment. Here we have our some of our demon decks, and this is the thing that really got me to back this game, and this is the thing I thought was really cool. So everyone's going to pick basically a class, and here's like the rogue, you'll say at the top, and they're going to pick a demon power. And depending on the orientation of what card goes with what, so here we have the number 4 and the number 4 card, they go together. Over the time of the gameplay, you'll be able to upgrade these, replace them, and get better things out of them. And there's tons of replayability. Another thing that I really liked in the rules was, when you get to a resting point, you can change your demon. So it gives you a lot of variety for card combos and effects that you can do. As you can see, there's a lot of options. It's actually a really neat system. I really like that. But some of the classes, like these guys, the Unholy Blades, the Black Knight, it only goes to, they're going to share cards. So these 4 cards are shared, but then they have their own individual cards specifically. So you really can't have 2 of the same character running around, or classes, I guess. Which is a minor inconvenience, but I believe there's 10 classes and 9 demons. So I don't think it's too bad. And it didn't make sense why they gave me sleeves for these cards, because there's not enough cards or sleeves for these cards, besides the fact that you can just use these. If you're worried about these sleeves breaking, I've already tested it out with the Dragon Shields. You can stack 3 cards in a Dragon Shield, it's not too bad. These mystery tuck boxes, they are just unlockable loot and gear. Most of them are cards. I say most of them because when I was exploring looking for that missing miniature spot, I really did think it was one of these. And yes, and it's not a miniature that fits in that. So it's not too bad. Originally, I liked this idea of this pull-out tray. I thought this was actually going to be really helpful because we're going to need a lot. But then I ran into the issue of, hey, not everything fits sleeved. And what you really need is to have a main box like this always out that will hold all your sleeve stuff. So I'm probably going to have to make a custom insert and reorganize all this to figure out how exactly I want it to be. So that's the first box. And here's the second all-in storage box, which I think is a lie. It sticks up, and it's because of these tiles they gave you. Now, I thought these tiles were different, but I read in the FAQ and stuff. Actually all of them. So all these tiles, they're the same. This 14A, 14A, 14A. They all kind of have the same artwork, except they're like different colors. And if you look at them, the trap layout and this little glyph thing, they're all the same. There are 3 tiles that are the same, but they're different colored for like theme, I guess. This is kind of wasteful, and I would have rather had 3 different types of tiles for a more random setup, but these are really the same thing. They functionally do the same thing, it's just the way they look. And they included so many of them that they just don't fit in the box right. This storage system seems to have been designed with the intention of you're only going to keep 1 set with all your game components. And that's dumb. That's so dumb. I have the 2 campaign books stacked up in here. And here are the cardboard tokens that are separate from the acrylic tokens. There is a limit to tokens in play too, and this, I guess, is the save tray system. It's a very weird dynamic layout. But they have the terrain tiles under, like, they're going to be stacked on top of your character boards. And I didn't mind this at first, but this is really the important part, having all these tokens, because you're going to use these constantly. But there is a layout diagram that shows this horrific asinine way of storing these tiles. And you got to stack like 1 set in there, and you got to Jenga it in to get it to fit. And honestly, I don't like it. I think that's a terrible storage solution. It should have been separated. But, you know, whatever. And then here, so this space used to have some cards in it that or no, this space had cards in it that were main size cards. But with the sleeves, yeah, it just doesn't fit. And then I found out something really weird with like some of these minis, like these giant minis. I didn't realize that your demon form are these big dudes. And I was like, oh, that's kind of odd and cool at the same time. I thought these were going to be things you fought. And you can fight them. But so far, Abaddon the Demon and the Manicore. There is no Hell Dragon in the All-In. I don't understand that.
Where are my dragons?
But when you buy an All-In and they don't include something that they added later or some weird crap, it's very weird and kind of disingenuous. As I said, I'm kind of losing trust with this company. The game itself plays extremely, once you figured out all the little weird caveats and nitpicks, I am going to probably do a how to play on this later, just so people can see, like, yeah, there are some really cool ideas with this. But mainly the problem is that there's a lot of basic stuff they've missed in this core release. They say they're fixing on them, and, you know, they're working on it. I hope they are, because this game seems to have the potential and the things that I like in games. Most RPG games I find very bland because they're poorly written. As far as the campaign book, you know, you can do some Cliff Note stuff, but everything's pretty well so far been laid out on how things work. Mechanically, it works well. The combat is very simple. It flows easy. The combos, a lot of that. The loot system. There's a lot of good things here. And unlike that Ancient Blood vampire game I got that I talked about, there's not a lot of fixing here. It's just minor stuff, but it's minor stuff that's like, hey, you got a solid system here, but you forgot to add the components. And I don't know if there's some translation issues. This company's in Massachusetts, but I was told that this company is really Italian. So I was figuring it might be some translation issues or something that's the problem why some wording and dialogue doesn't make any sense. They also had some really snarky comments in their FAQ and erratas. And it's basically like, did you read the book? And yeah, some of it, but the book is kind of confusing in the rules because it contradicts itself a lot. There is a limit on how many tokens you can stack on an enemy for effects, but there's so many cards that say ignore the stack token limit. And there's a lot of implied things that, you know, people who read things that follow instructions as written, it gets kind of messy. Now, as far as ideas go, the theme, I actually do like the theme, the style, the art, the minis. It's actually kind of a cool system. And it plays well. Just the minor hiccups with rules and missing components. So don't get turned off by this. If you don't like this game and you want to sell it, I'm pretty sure someone will buy it off you fairly easy, because it is a decent game. Give it a try. The company, not so much. And that could be a myriad of issues, and the lack of transparency is what I really think the issue is. But it's been a very chaotic time in the market. And I know I've been kind of hard on Dragori games, but, you know, no Hell Dragon in the All-In. That's kind of messed up. Not giving the expansion tokens when you make acrylic tokens. Not including the key fundamental tokens that are required for gameplay. Granted, you can use anything, I guess, as long as it's double-sided. One side's different than the other. But those are some pretty big issues. Ignoring your stuff on gamefound and your customer support emails, especially since I had to shame you on gamefound to get this, big no-no. And that's what I'm saying, like, I lack faith in the company. And you have a good product. So, if you're going to say you're going to fix it, be clear to people, don't lie to them, don't give them weird estimates. Just be upfront, that's all we ask. As far as all the other stuff, supposedly it will come to me eventually. The game is playable, I just need to provide my own components, which seems kind of weird. Except for the, I guess, 11th hero, because we don't have the stuff for him. As far as the Hell Dragon, I really wish that you said that, you know, this wasn't included in the All-In, like, very clearly, because when you say All-In, that's kind of misleading. And lastly, your storage system sucks. You fall into the same thing that everyone does with, like, hey, we're going to sell you sleeves, but we're not going to give you a good way to sleeve stuff. And your sleeves are fairly cheap. They are, like, penny sleeves. They're not very good quality. Wasting time on stuff like this could have cut down production. If you're going to include terrain, make it actually usable, because, you know, I paid extra for stuff that's I'm not going to use. And that's what I always hate about, like, terrain packs being included in the All-In. And because this is packaged differently, I couldn't even add it to my giveaway. So yeah, that's kind of my criticisms. But I do enjoy the game so far. I got to do more testing, figure out more things, see more of the combos. But you know, consistency is important too with the way you write things and make rules. So you're kind of all over the place, and I don't know if you're schizophrenic or something. I mean, I guess I do that since everyone says I ramble. But there's some really weird things in the game design. I forgot to mention that this little dude, he's Beelzebub. He's one of the greater demons that you can morph into. But he's tiny for some reason. It's a really weird, inconsistent thing. So, it is what it is. The orange thing with this is supposed to be chaos and order. But then there's these pink things or purple things, which I forgot what those are supposed to be. I guess they're order versions of the demon. Really weird screw up on like the color coding of knowing what's what. I'm not sure what that really was all about. Don't have too much of an issue with it so far. But having a really piss-poor tile storage system, I mean, Awakened Realms has this problem with Stalker. Any game that uses a lot of tiles. At least I can say with the other games, the tiles offer different things. And I can appreciate that more than you gave me alternate artwork. That I have it's a pain in the ass to store this. And then finding stuff all the time. So, do I recommend the game? Yes, I actually do recommend the game. If you like a Diablo-style loot system, fluid and fast combat, and a pretty straight approach to having special abilities with tons of varieties and builds, this actually fits it. It's a really well done, mechanically it's well done. Rules-wise, the rules need work. They definitely need work, and just mainly clearing stuff up, and don't be dicks to your fans or customers who are asking, hey man, you wrote this, it doesn't make any sense, and we'll go read the rules. Okay, but we're asking you because the rules don't make sense, or they're not clear enough. That's kind of the problem. For the people that don't like, you know, there's errors, I understand fully. This was an expensive game. I paid a lot for this. I mean, I paid as much for this for Dante's Inferno. Or Dante Inferno. This is the first dungeon crawler boss battling system that I've gotten that I was like, I really like this. And I'm happy that, you know, it finally showed up here and it didn't piss me off to the levels that I am. And I know I sound angry. But so far, everything here mechanically is solid. And that's what you really need, is the solid mechanics. The other stuff can be fixed with erratas, FAQs, questions. That's not a problem. Missing components is a problem. Inconsistency is a problem. So, good on you for making a playable game. Shame on you for all the other stuff I've mentioned. But if you get a chance to try this game out, I definitely encourage you guys to try it out. If you can get this on the cheap on the resale market, because I don't think this was coming to distributors. I think this was just a GameFound exclusive with like a 3-year or 10-year, whatever. It's not coming out to the public. Which is a missed opportunity, but I guess they could take that time to learn to fix some of these errors. So, like I said, in the future, I'm probably going to do a gameplay, how to play video on the game, because there's some wonky shit going on, and I need to get more time on the table with this. But so far, I'm happy with it, except for the things I've mentioned. Other than that, thank you for watching. I am still doing the 2026 giveaway. I've added the art book and the die tray from earlier to the giveaway for the 50th subscriber milestone. Again, thank you for watching, take care of yourselves, and GG's.